Collection Completed is the final episode of Tales from the Crypt Season 1. Directed by Mary Lambert, written by Battle Davis, Randolph Davis, and A. Whitney Brown, and shot by Peter Stein. Based on a story from the Vault of Horror number 25. The director-cinematographer duo who brought us Pet Sematary offers us another feline fable, teaching the ever-important lesson, never, ever mess with cats. Anita has a surprise birthday party all set for her husband, Jonas, who turns 65 today. She hears a sound at the door, and to her surprise, it's a stray cat. She takes the little cutie in and names her Mew Mew. Excited she met a new furry friend, she accidentally shuts the door right on her husband.
You shut the door right on my face.
Jonas informs Anita that he's been forced into retirement due to his age. Not in the mood for a party, he heads upstairs to bed, much to the disappointment of Anita and her family of pets. The next morning, Jonas sees the positive side of retirement. After years of working his life away with long days and long nights, he can finally sleep in and spend some quality time with his wife. Things are a little awkward at first, sharing a morning routine with Anita for the first time in years, but things take a turn for the weird as he starts noticing her animal companions. And more importantly, how she treats them better than him. She even has a dog named Jonas. Not used to having her husband home, Anita subconsciously cares for him like one of her pets. She accidentally puts cat food in his sandwich, and puts his aspirin in a brownie, like she would when trying to give a dog its medicine.
What was in there?
Your aspirin! I put it in the brownie for you.
God damn it, Anita!
Now that he's home all the time, he's truly seeing Anita's animal obsession for the first time. The comic has no retirement subplot. Jonas, or Jonah as he's named in the book, simply hates animals from the start, and he despises Anita's kindness towards them. She comforts a stray cat that Jonah tried to scare away. This is Mew Mew in the comic. Anita tells Jonah she's going to keep Mew Mew, that animals are her hobby, and that Jonah needs to get a hobby too. The show introduces a third character, Roy the neighbor. He's the one who attempts to convince Jonas to take up a hobby. His recommendation? Model airplanes. Jonas doesn't care about the planes. He prefers his yard work. One day, while Jonas is tending to his plants, Mew Mew knocks over a pitcher of lemonade that Anita left out for him. He chases the cat with hedge clippers, but falls into his pond. Covered in mud, Jonas heads straight to the shower, ignoring Anita's warning that she's cleaning the fish tank.
Wait, I'm cleaning the
Standing in a tub full of fish is the last straw for Jonas. Later, he comes home carrying a lot of packages in his arms. He goes right down to the cellar and unpacks all the tools, knives, wire, acid, and other liquids, everything for his new hobby. Anita talks with Roy, oblivious to what Jonas is up to, simply happy that he's finally adjusted to retirement. Everything is on the up and up, except she can't seem to find her dog, Jonas. Her husband tells her to check out back for the pup. To her horror, she finds her dog stuffed. Jonas's new hobby is taxidermy.
When you love animals, now I can learn to love them too.
The sudden shock of the situation sends Anita into a panic. The comic, on the other hand, is straight up sadistic, playing out Jonah's torture of Anita through the entire story. On the page, Jonah tells her he's taking up taxidermy the day he brings home the supplies. This mortifies Anita. She shouts he's only doing this to hurt her for her love of animals. That night, Jonah teases Anita by reading aloud from his new book about taxidermy. She screams at him to stop, but runs upstairs after hearing the part about sliding off the animal's skin. The next morning, Jonah traps a mouse that Anita's been leaving cheese for, his first specimen for his new obsession. Over the following days, Jonah taunts Anita with his ever-expanding collection of animals he's caught in the city and stuffed. It all starts with little critters. The mouse, the blue jay, a squirrel, and a pigeon. Then one day, Jonah brings home a dog that didn't have a collar on. As his collection grows, so does her hatred towards him. He claims his collection is almost complete. Anita searches for Mew Mew, but can't find her anywhere. Making her way to the basement, Anita is devastated by all the poor birds, rodents, and dogs. Jonas didn't catch some random critters in the city like in the comic. He murdered all of his wife's beloved pets. And now, introducing the next addition to his collection,
The final piece in my collection. Something like this!
Anita's maternal instincts kick in. She smashes Jonas's head with a hammer in order to protect Mew Mew. However, the little kitty isn't so lucky in the comic. A stuffed Mew Mew sits before Anita, grinning at her. As Jonah laughs and is proud of his accomplishment, Anita snaps and grabs his knife. Later, Anita is found in the cellar, stroking the stuffed Mew Mew, having completely lost her mind. Next to her sits Jonah, not looking quite right. But let's face it, Anita isn't the skilled taxidermist that Jonah was. HBO ends the story on a happier note. Roy checks on Anita, who is back to her perky self now that Jonah has learned to slow down and enjoy life.
He's much happier.
The retirement subplot puts us in the mind of Jonas, making us understand but not approve of his actions. It also adds a lot of comedy with Anita's pet treatment of Jonas. Too much, if you ask me. Only the final 5 minutes of this half-hour episode are devoted to the taxidermy horror, and even then, it doesn't come close to the savagery of the original story. The comic is dark and cruel, denying a happy ending for both characters. A story worthy of the Vault of Horror title printed on the cover. It truly is the stuffing that nightmares are made of.